All right, guys, I am back with Robert Hess for a second interview. We're just here today to discuss his new venture. For many years, Robert has been consulting and doing a lot of different things for other people. And for the first time, he's really taken the reins, and he himself is going on his own venture that he will be the owner of and he will be the influencer over. He won't be answering to the man anymore. He's going to be the head honcho and the head chief. So I just want Robert to talk about kind of just the purpose and even the vision that he has for his idea and concept Urban Melt, which is coming to fruition in 2019. So I'm just going to give Robert just quite a bit of time to chat about his vision and just the things that he wants to do, and even maybe other house contestants and winners that he's in contact with about his idea. So Robert, take the go ahead, and I want you to tell us a little bit about what's going on.
Well, thanks for having me, Miles. It's really awesome to just keep, being able to reach out to my fans and tell them what's going on. And I appreciate you that you have this platform, so it kind of gets, us kind of closer to, kind of gets us closer to our fans, and you kind of bridge that gap, and that's a really cool thing. So, yeah, it's been a crazy ride, you know what I mean? Since the whole weight loss thing has been an amazing transformation in my mind, and as far as my work ethic, from just being 655 pounds and it's kind of just loving what I did for a living and but not happy inside, and just knowing that I've been traveling the country and seeing so much support, and I've done really well monetarily helping other people succeed and consulting and giving my ideas, and just realizing at the end of the day I should be consulting myself. And at 40 years old, I just found losing all the weight and now being at 155 pounds and just just a new lease on life, and just reborn, I guess, in ways to say now's the time to do it. And it's just not one of those situations where one guy decides to throw in all his chips and decide to open a restaurant and say, against all odds, there's got to be a reason, right? For me personally, I wanted to build a concept that, one, is I believe in, and two, is it's something that I always tell my son before he goes to bed, and that is it's not what you're given in this world, it's what you leave behind. So remember, what if and I think people are out there always what is their purpose, and what are they meant to do, and they're kind of always on that life's journey, right? And I knew at a real young age that I belonged in a kitchen, and I belonged helping people, and my own story of coming over and beating drugs and alcohol in prison and all these things. And I was how do I break away from the white linen restaurants and this almost the shackles of being employed by, even though you're the head executive chef and you make and create this amazing menu, you are a slave to the owner, you know what I mean? Because you work for somebody, so at the end of the day you have to answer to that, right?
Yeah.
If your ideas are valid, or I always ran myself into this situation where, man, it could be so much better if I did it, and it's time to really stand behind that. And I've been building this concept in my head as a place where if you feed the masses, you live among the elite, and if you feed the elite, you live among the masses. So what can I come up with that's going to drive a great dining experience, and not just be another one bites the dust type of thing, or one and done, or something unique. And I just fell in love with the whole idea of the artisanal chef and the food truck movement, and that taking and saying, how can I turn this into a food truck and also in a brick and mortar? But the biggest thing was how to do this restaurant and make it mean something, or how do I give back, like how it gave back to me, the business that gave back to me, and how did I get here, and the story how I got here, you know? So out of like many drafts of a menu and development of logos and things, I fell in love with the medium of a grilled cheese, and there is restaurants that have the grilled cheese as their medium, but it really starts with like the youthfulness of this idea of whether you're 5 or 55, you love grilled cheese, and it's one of those comfort foods that resonates with any age group, any social class, and you know, no matter what the weather is, whether it's, you know, 20 feet of snow or hot as heck outside, you know, like you would eat grilled cheese and tomato soup. But now how do I put my spin? There's been variations all over the country.
Yeah.
Right? So that's the challenge. And as I was opening restaurants, to be honest, it's easier to spend other people's money when they hire you to do it, use it as like their test kitchen, and like I'm developing concepts, saving the ideas for myself, and like writing the ideas down and saying this is what I would do, even though like they wanted to cut costs. I'm like, there's got to be an equal balance. So really it came down to, you know, everybody that pretty much knows me, and if you don't, like I fought being in prison, addicted to drugs, and not having a family life, and like I was one of few that get out, you know, and I said, you know, it's time, it's time for me to open a business, but this time I'm opening it for a reason. And my reason is this, is America, in my opinion, is built on our future. Everybody says it's got to invest in our kids' future. And I'm saying, like, at-risk kids, I am proof that if you care enough that one kid can make it and make a difference. If I'm not the American dream story of where I came from to all the things I've done up to this day, saying I want to open a restaurant with my own money and invest everything I have and take the risk of saying, I'm going to do this for the people who believed in me, and I'm going to do it for the kid that's sitting in a bad situation, and say that there's somebody that really cares about you, and that you could be the next president, Gordon Ramsay, Chef Robert, or entrepreneur, or whatever. So what I want to do is build this safe haven restaurant where it's called the Urban Melt. And the Urban Melt is the melting of all things, the melting of urban and different cultures, being that hip-hop, rock and roll kind of fun atmosphere, and like the street in the restaurant, and saying instead of saying we're farm to table, we're street to table, you know what I mean? And like really taking that to a new level by offering a safe haven for troubled kids to learn a craft, learn a trade. Why not have them learn from a guy that has been through the ringer like them? It's easy to go ahead and say you donate and care about somebody, but then when you go to your white picket fence and your 4 kids and your beautiful house and your 4 cars, and you're leaving that kid in the shit that he has to deal with, he'd be more apt to listen to somebody that's been through that situation himself, like the Michael Rays of the world, and like the me, and like all the people that struggle and pulled themselves out of it and still continue to struggle and do the battle a day.
Yeah.
Would be more apt to, say, okay, I'll listen to that. So that's kind of in a nutshell, and the whole concept around it is the urban melt is the melting of all people and coming together under between 2 slices of bread as the medium. And at the same time, every time you buy a melt, a portion of the proceeds goes to finding either educational needs, housing needs, clothing, anything for at-risk kids. And I said, it has to be the kids that are really, truly in need. And it could be in a minute situation or a real big situation, because I truly believe if you grab them really young and you grab them before it's really hit that ringer where they've learned how to milk the system, how to, without even disrespecting it, like suck on the tit of America by going into these programs and saying like they want to just adapt to, you know, expecting a handout. It's not a handout, it's a hand up. And that's what I want to offer, is saying there is no free lunches in this world, and I really don't care what you did to get to this point, you know, as far as you got in trouble. Face it, own it, accept it, and do what is right. And here's the options that I went through, and say I have your back when most people will turn on you and give up on you. And I've always been that guy that hired ex-cons, young people that have issues, because I was one of you, and somebody gave me that shot. And I want to take it a step further and say that we're going to, you know, the money is going to not open a facility where everything goes to the infrastructure and only a small percentage goes to the kids. Does that make sense? Like,
Yeah.
So a lot of these charities, it goes to different charities, and it goes to all this infrastructure, and says it costs big money to do a charity. Well, I truly believe, like, I want to go ahead and give it to the horse's mouth and provide an in-house training place where an after-school program or a work program where you come and you work with me or any of these future melts, and that it's a place where you can rebound and get your stuff together and say, you know, we want a safe place so if they have a troubles going at home and it's violent, that we'll, you know, be there as a filter. We'll be there, and we'll have counseling, and we'll have this, like, make you as a customer know that every dollar you spend, it's like going to a great cause. And it's like be building or investing into the future. And I always said, I'm never going to be that old man that sits back and be like, these fucking kids are ruining the country. And like, I remember like doing the hip hop in the 80s and 90s and be like, these kids are out of their mind. They're going to ruin the country. And the fact is, I'm 40 years old, and I'm seeing these millennial kids, even though they're like my biggest customers, and they love my concepts and they love it and they dig it. I'm just like, bro, a lot of them have like this sense of like, you owe me something. And I come from the old school, is like, if you want it, you got to earn it, and you got to work for it. Nothing's handed to you. There's nothing free in this world. And if it is, it's only going to be taken away, and you're going to lose it. You know what I mean? So I want to inspire like other businesses. Can you imagine, Miles, and out there, that if every business from a doctor's office to a dollar store and in between gave, and it was mandatory to get a business license, that was mandatory to give a half of a % after you net at the bottom line of their take to like the youth of America or youth programs of America to rebuild or build up the youth of like that struggled or in abusive homes or, you know, had a bad way with run-ins with the law, homeless. Do you know what that would do to this country and the flux of like support and like what we would have in the future of like, to me, it's like, if you want to own a business, you got to give back, because as you're taking, and even though you're paying taxes and you're doing the right thing and you're building this empire, you're not reaching back and helping the small guy because you're worried about taking a bite out of the American pie or the American. You're focused on that. And what I'm focusing on is simply just opening a restaurant that's going to have a purpose and a meaning behind it, and going ahead and saying the Urban Melt is a guarantee. And I'm telling you right now, I'm just going to be candid with you, is I don't need the money to open the restaurant.
Yeah.
My GoFundMe campaign is literally that, is I can fund the whole restaurant. That money's not going to buy pots, pans, decor, anything, food for the restaurant. I've saved my own money, and I've worked very hard to get to this point to say I'm doing this for the community, right? I'm doing this for the world because I want Urban Melt everywhere, right? Let it be franchisable and be franchised by opportunity for one of these kids, the opportunity to run one. You know, open the food trucks and say I'm going to have a fleet of trucks and say these older guys that are, had a bad way. Here's an opportunity to be an owner, a contributor to society, a contributor to the communities that you live in, and give back to the communities that you took from. You know what I mean? And be another inspiration. So I know it's a long journey, but I'm taking the first step in my journey. So when I get at what I'm using the money for, the GoFundMe money is to go ahead and set up the whole programs that's going to take to go ahead and make sure that the money's going to the right places, right? Because I may have a great idea. I'm a worker. I'm working my bone 90 hours a week, and this is for my family now and for future families, my employees, and now these kids are on my mind, doing events for them, how to raise more capital, more money, and that's what I'm doing. So the money that I'm fundraising for is for all of the logistics that's going to take to make sure that money is spent and given to the charities that use it 90% for the kids. And then all like the legal mumbo jumbo, you know what I mean, of running a charity, which is odd in itself. You can't even give away money without somebody saying, what's the catch? You know what I mean? So like I've said, I'm a very humble man to the point where I don't like asking for things.
Yeah.
So I'm saying I'm fronting all this. What I'm saying is I want the world to know, like, it ain't about making dollars. It's about what you leave behind, the legacy that you leave, and knowing that I'm going to answer for everything I did from now, from my past, and everything to the big man upstairs. One day it's going to come, and I'm going to be at that judgment.
Yeah.
But I've always felt in my heart like all the bad things, all the drug deals, all the people I heard over my life, that I never deserved all of the things that I have now in life, all the success. I'm very humble to the point where this is too crazy. I don't deserve this. I'm like a very like introverted guy. You see me on the show, you see me doing these things in public. I'm not that guy. I'm like very like shy and like, but when it comes to passion, when it comes to food, it's like I'm a nerd. I'm like all in, and like I put these blinders on, and I'm so passionate about just working with these kids and just saying like, man, and having my little son look at me and said his dad is like a superhero, like he is out saving people and like, and giving people a shot. Like I said, America, when you come on Ellis Island or whatever and you see the Statue of Liberty, it says, bring me, you're tired, you're hungry, and all this other stuff. I'm like that. I want the melt to be like, hey kid, if you're abused and you got these issues and nobody thinks you want you, and I'm like, I care. The melt cares. The urban melt is a safe place. It's almost like a boys and girls club for our communities with a job corps or a job that you learn from and get paid. You get paid. And I'm there, and why not learn from a chef that's been in those bigger markets and say, I've had a lot of comments that people are saying like, yo, it's pretty beneath you for all your talent to go and make grilled cheese. And I said, well, the New York part of me and the Brooklyn part of me wants to go ahead and be like, all right there, Liver Lips, I'll tell you what you need to hear and jack shit. But I understand what you're saying, and I appreciate it because you like what I've been doing for you. But this is what's inside your heart, right? Where you just wake up one day and you're like, I feel good about myself. I feel good about making the money that I make because I know it's for the people. And like, you can't take it with you, man. Anybody that's watching it, no matter what you got, you can't take it with you, right? So why are you focused on how many dollars are in the bank? It's like, to me, being successful is a lot of different things. Are you a good father? Do you love your wife or you cheat on your wife? And are you go to church? You pay your taxes. You do the right thing. You know what I mean? There's a lot of success in my life. And it's monetarily successful, right? And that's just bonuses. You know what I mean? To me, money is like points. Money is like points in the game. You know what I mean? So it's like, can't take it with you. And today I scored 30 points, you know what I mean? And my averages are going up, you know what I mean? And sometimes it's bad. One of the best things this old man always told me one time in my life when I was really young, he was like, you know, Robert, two things is going to be consistent in your life. And he's like going to change depending on what kind of man you are, right? And those two things are going to be women and money. And like, they're always going to fluctuate, right? Sometimes you had a good day. Sometimes you had a bad paycheck. Sometimes you got a lot of girls. Sometimes you had a dry spell, you know what I mean? And like, it all comes in moderation. And the actions that you do dictate how often those fluctuate. You know, by being a good husband and a good father, you always have a woman in your life. You know what I mean? I think every strong man needs an even stronger woman in their life to go ahead and kick him in the ass, and also go ahead and push him when he doesn't want to be pushed. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
That's number one. And you know, I don't mean to be rambling. I'm just like, I get really passionate on it. Like the food, I got the food. I got the food. You know what I mean? The menu's gonna be cool as hell. It's gonna be like funky food truck sandwiches, everything from the Cuban war pig to the duck banh mi, duck confit banh mi, grilled cheese called the Quacky Can. You can't have fun with that. It's gonna be fun. And then build your own, make it a selfie. You know what I mean? And like, make it a selfie melt. Everything from waffle ice cream sandwiches called waffliches, and just having like fun with food and stop being pretentious about it. Offer high-end ingredients at moderate, cheap prices. There ain't gonna be a melt over $10, and you get a truffle melt. The thing is, I believe in leaving money on the table, because if you leave money on the table instead of going for the jugular right off, you're gonna get what business did back in the day, from the butcher to the bread maker to the candlestick maker. You understand, where it's like longevity, the neighborhood place, the place where you can always go, and it's like the prices ain't gonna gouge you, and you become an entity, and you leave money on the table to have vitality, you have dedication and a following. You know what I mean? And then as these things open, you know, I don't stop with just one. That's not what I want to do. I want to put these in urban cities, and I want to put them in like areas that maybe like for me, I chose Albuquerque and Santa Fe market because there's not a market here for that, and there's a lot of troubled youth here, and there's a lot of troubled youth all over the country. Okay, but the economy really here is soft. Right? But what I do like about this place is all the hard people that are working, they spend money on the three things that are available for them to do, and that's go out to eat, go have drink, and then go to the casino. And like, I like the first one, go out to eat, and the other two if you're responsible, right? So where do these young people go? Where do they go to thrive? Where do they got their hangouts? You know, where does a kid go when he even wants to get a job? And because he has a record, everybody turns their nose at him, you know? And I don't like that. You got to inspire people, you know? And I hope that I inspire other businesses to catch on to this wave. You know what I mean? And like, give back of all the hard work you put in and the money you put in. And say you should be doing for your fellow man as you be successful.
I like that, Robert. When you're speaking of urban kids, inner city kids, want to just tell us a little bit about your upbringing as a New Yorker living in Brooklyn, I believe it is?
Well, I mean, a little bit, you know, in a nutshell, you know, like I always tell kids this, and I say, listen, you know what I'm saying? Like, you look at my life, I'm 40 years old, and I'm telling you, you're 15, you're 14. I'm going to tell you, like, the year has changed, and the body has changed, and your age has changed, but the situations, they're all the same.
Yeah.
It's just next generation. Whether it's, you know, sexual molestation and abuse and like crime and poverty, it all is the same. You know what I mean? It's just like you happen to get whatever your environment is, you're a product of that environment, okay? So like, it's not your fault. You know what I mean? So I had to realize and forgive myself, and even to this day I struggle with forgiving myself. You know what I mean? But it's also not blaming the world too. I mean, it ain't the world's fault. You know what I mean? And the rest of the world shouldn't suffer for your suffering. You understand? You have to use it, own it, accept it, and make it part of you, your strength, right? So I grew up in a home very violent and like typical, and then I was given up at an early age, was raised in boys' homes, getting my ass beat, inner city, white boy, getting my ass beat, and like learning how to fight with these instead of learning how, and being real smooth with this, you know what I mean, to get out of fighting, you know, because I wasn't a real fighter. And just knew that, you know, life, I thought like the world owed me something because I've been through shit, right? Living on prostitutes' couches, selling drugs, living in crack houses and stash houses. You know, I got a job not selling crack because I was too fat, right? So I would be a dead giveaway. So I was in the production part of it, and I would go ahead and bundle bags of crack, and you would get, and I learned right there to be incentivized or get incentives. Like, you have a quota, you got to make 50 wraps in this amount of time, and for every one you go over, you get a bonus, and then you get to go into this special room and pick out, you know, your bonus of like stolen products from like Nintendos to a leather jacket. You know what I mean? So I did that for a while. I did a long time, and I thought that's my life, and didn't care about if I lived or died. And how scary is that? You know, where if to the point where I always had a rule that I would never hurt people. Not realizing the crack cocaine that I'm putting in the baggies is like really hurting people. But I was like, my rule is I was never going to hurt people, right?
Yeah.
And I lived by the street code, never turn on anybody, never be a rat. And, you know, but you realize even those dudes that you work for and even these guys, gangs and all this stuff, they're not your friends, you know what I mean? And a lot of young men, especially that hook up in these gangs, they are seeking a father figure. They are seeking a figure to stand, you know, because they come in the product and they don't have nobody to look up to or nobody to put their foot in their ass. Like the right thing, right?
Yeah.
So they're searching. They're searching for men, and there's these hawks out there. There's these like animals that are out there that prey on that, because even as tough as you are and the muscles you got and how hard you are, you're searching for that acceptance. So these guys are out there, these older men, and these hawks, and they prey on the weak, right? So they bring you in and make you feel part of a group, and they make you feel a part of a brotherhood, and it's infectious, right? And that's how they get their loyalty, right? Because they grew up with none of this in their life. So they're searching for that. So I was on that same tip. One day, the place was raided, and I'm too fat to run. So I was like, you got me. And then they put me in the DA, you know, in the offices. They trying to have me roll over on people, and I'm like, there ain't no way I'm rolling on you. I'm like, first of all, I'm only 17 years old, so I'm going to be, unless you're going to catch me with a case, you ain't got nothing other than I got this, and I'll be out in a year. You know what I mean? I ain't stupid. And you've been educated what to say if you was pinched. So you know they can't do nothing because you're a young guy. Unfortunately, I end up going, and I'm fucking there for almost a year, but they put me in PC, protective custody of my age, with the old people, that were like, you know, like dying of cancer, and so you know, you're not gonna get messed with, you know what I mean? And like, so anyways, I didn't roll over anybody, and I did my bid, you know. And like, as I was there, I learned from a lot of great men that were dying in prison, and they were the best education I ever got. And to this day, I say the same things to my son that I was told in that cell. Okay? And one of the best things I've ever learned in my life that carried me on Hell's Kitchen, because you saw I was a fighter, and like, you saw like, what I've done all my life, and is one day this man came up to me and he said, "Hey, yo, let me tell you something. There's two men in this world, two. That's it. One, two. You're gonna be one of them, and that's okay because the world needs both of you. The world needs both of you. So there's only two types of men, and that's the mule pulling the cart or the guy whipping the mule. So you got to decide what you want to be. So you need to know who you are and where you fit in this world, because the world needs both types of men, and there's nothing wrong with both. But you got to make that conscious decision." So that really touched home with me, saying, do you want to be in charge of things and being responsible in charge of things, or you just want to be the worker or the grunt that follows the orders? So there's natural leaders in this world, and there's followers, and there ain't nothing like that, because you need them both to make the world work, right? So I knew at a young age I want to be a leader, right? But how do you get there? It's easy to say that. You got to be a follower first, and you got to be somebody that says, well, I can do it better. And then you got to be a workaholic. You got to be able to put your nose to the grind and say, you know why all these men work for me at different age miles, from young to old?
Yeah.
Why I get these big contracts? Because I don't go in there with a big inflated head and say, I'm Chef Robert. Who gives a shit? Nobody gives a shit. The people who love my food, they love it because I work hard for it. It's not the persona. It's not the persona, okay? All that TV notoriety and all those things, all the successful things, and the people, I love you and I want your autograph, beautiful, thank you, right? I'll take the time, and that's the other thing. I do an event whether it pays $100 to $10,000 because I'm not too good to do it.
Yeah.
When these guys, they got no longevity because they don't remember where they come from. They don't remember where it was like to eat top ramen. They got a taste of the rich life, and they expect that that's supposed to be handed to them. So what? You was on a TV show 4 or 5 times. You got an opportunity. You're going to capitalize on that, or are you a chef? That was one of the things Gordon Ramsay always told me. Are you a TV chef or a chef? Which one are you? And I said, I'm a chef. And he's like, fine, the rest will come. And that stayed with me from him. So that resonated. And I said, the only reason I'm successful is because I put in the work.
Absolutely.
Not because of my name. It's not, I'm building my name and saying the novelty of Hell's Kitchen and Food Network and being at the Playboy Mansion and working for Dennis Hoff and all of these different things are just from a product of the hard work that you put in the beginning and the hard work that you're putting in now, right? So it's a cherry on top of a sundae that you've been building your whole life, right? And at the end of the day, you take all that out, the novelty, the food is what matters, right? Because if you can't back it up, what's the point? So I always say the novelty of me draws you in, and it's cool, and it's the idea, and it's good advertising, good marketing. But the food brings you back, right? Because that's the experience, the food, the ambiance, the feeling, and the fact that I cook your food.
Yeah.
I make it with these hands, you know what I mean? And I put in the hours and the effort, and I make it from scratch, dude. You know, when I hate when people say, yeah, it's homemade. Yeah, it's homemade in some factory somewhere, and then you buy it from Cisco or Whole Foods or, you know, whatever, and then you put it on your menu and then tell you lie to people and you say that you made it. Come on, who you fooling, right? So I have pride, you know, and that's what I want to instill into these kids, man. It's like they see what I do for a living, and they get inspired and they light up, and you know, and I know people tell me all the time, you know what I mean, like, Robert, you're like super handsome and stuff, and you know, you lost all that weight, but you got that bitch face, you know, and it looks like you pissed off all the time. And really, I'm the most happiest I ever been in my whole career, man. And I'm truly, and I smile on the inside. That's just a New Yorker scowl, you know. And it's like I'm always thinking, and that's what this is. It's like I'm always calculating, thinking, what's the next thing, you know? Like when I'm working, I'm doing 5 other things while I'm plating. You know what I mean? And like thinking about, you know, the future of me and like the future of where I want to be. and and never forgetting where I come from. So, I see like guys like Michael Ray. That motherfucker is the OG of Hell's Kitchen and my best friend. You know what I mean? And like that motherfucker has been on the come up from fucking been at the bottom all the way to the then back at the bottom again. But you know what? Ding ding, give him the bell.
That's right.
He's a fighter, bro. So I draw inspiration off of that. You know what I mean? And I always make the joke with him, yo, you're like watching like prison shows on look at your life and you're like, damn, it could be worse.
Yep.
I help you. And I'm always there for him. And he just got married and you just see the light in his eyes come back, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And he's beautiful children. And like, so he's like a really good friend. I really dig what he's got going on. And like, me and him have the same goal, man. We come from different sides of the continent, or as far as, different coasts of the nation, but the problem's the same. We're more like LA, what's up, dude? And like all rocker out and tattoos and shit. And I'm more like, yo, that street guy got Biggie Smalls all day, every day playing on the radio. Like, just being like, never changed who I was, and neither did he. And like, I get inspiration from that cat, and like, maybe one day we can merge, you know what I mean, and combine it, because like, he's I don't want to keep talking about Mike. It's just one of those guys in my life that is a good friend.
Yeah.
Like, is a beautiful man. He's doing really good things for his future and what he's doing to help people. Like, that guy goes out of his way to help anybody, whether they're wackadoo or not, Give the talk. We'll work through this, buddy. How are you doing? And I'm like, man, that's too, you sound like Cat Williams when you're talking to them. So, anyways, yeah, maybe we'll merge together. You never know. You know what I mean? But on my end, the urban melt, baby, get toasted.
That's right.
And it's happening. 2019, I'm all in, baby. LOI is signed and delivered. I got the food truck already ready to be wrapped, built. We're going to pick that baby up in a few weeks. And then we're going to build it. And we're going to build it small. And we're going to start humble. And we're going to grow it. And we're going to get the word out. It's going to be a social media push. I want to do an urban underground build of everything, give it a documentary, I don't care if Food Network, I want it for myself to show it to people like my son or anybody in my family. Like, look what I did, man. I was like making $225,000 a year as Chef Robert Hess at such and such and such. And what do? Throw it all in the garbage and go to the bank and say, yep, I'm going to take my life savings. And who are you going to believe in but yourself?
That's right.
So I always say, you could take the safe road out there, America, and all these inspiring chefs and people that are entrepreneurs and business makers, go for it. Go for it. If you believe in it, make it happen. Be smart about it. I just didn't wake up and say, oh, I got to use the bathroom while I'm sitting on the pot. Say, over to the restaurant. It's been building and doing the business plans and doing all that garbage, cost analysis. And let me tell you something about that. That's the biggest racket of them all, because you have these little peanuts or these little bean counters that are sitting in an office, and you're paying them your money to tell you if you're going to make money or not. I see a value in it, but at the end of the day, it comes to one thing, your gut, right? And then after your gut, it's your balls. Do you have the balls to do it? And that's it. Because you already proved you can make the money to save the money to get to where you are to open a business, right?
That's right.
Whether you go take a loan out or whatever you're doing, do you have the balls and the belief in yourself to do it? No matter the naysayer, because you're always going to get the haters. And you're always going to get the people that own a business that say, I wouldn't do that, right? And I say, you might as well, whether you're female or male, go balls deep, right? Because at the end of the day, you know who you are and you know what you're capable of.
That's right.
And you want it successful, you're going to have slow days, and how do you get through that adversity or that triumph? How do you come over that? I'm a prime example of beating all odds, and like I'm also a prime example of being humble and saying I got a Midas touch. I touch something, it happens. And what I got tired of is helping people, right? And only having no longevity in it. And they get all the fruits of my ideas, and I wasn't smart enough at that time, because I love helping people, to go ahead and be like, the intellectual property, I should earn it.
Yeah.
I mean, I own a piece of that.
Yeah.
You know, I'm saying, you know what? It's time to consult Big Daddy right here, and consult the brand, the Urban Milk, and say all the ideas that I've done is to focus for these kids. You know what I mean, Miles? Like, you've known me for a long time, and you know I've never done anything that I don't go all in.
No way.
You know what I mean? This is it, baby. I'm at the 21 table, and I'm sitting there right now, and I'm ready to go ahead and push it and double down. You know what I mean? And like, I'm ready to gamble, baby. And I'm gambling on myself and the belief in people, and the belief in that they are no bad kids. Only situation.
Yep.
So when I come on this stage, and you never see me do long videos like this or ask for money or any of that, you know? I grew up very humbly, and it took one man to reach out to me and go ahead and say I'm worth something. And from that day on, cooking has saved my life personally. Okay? If it wasn't for being a chef or cooking, it was the most consistent thank you I've ever got in a world of fuck you to me. And I knew at that time that I was meant for this. And as I kept going in the business, I was living in excess. I never had anything. People ask me how I got so fat and all this. I said, I grew up with nothing. So like, as soon as I got a taste of money, great food, women, booze, drugs, I wanted to live in excess. I wanted to be like Belushi and die young. You know what I mean? I just wanted to have it all. And then it caught up with me. It just caught up and got worse and worse. And then I had the heart attack. And a lot of people don't know. I'll tell you, this is a right now exclusive why I had my decision to have this surgery.
Yeah.
Is I had my third heart attack, right? 2 on the show, real, no hype, no bullshit. It was real, right? Then I'm going ahead, I'm in Walmart, chasing my son around. I fucking have a heart attack, drop on top of him, and I break his arm.
Oh, wow.
I wake up in the hospital bed, not knowing where the hell I am, and there's my son right next to me. Broken arm. Right? At that point, I just knew, like, I sobbed, I cried. I heard the one thing that was the most purest thing in my life at that time. And, you know, so, like, so, like, that was, like, the eye-opener for me to be, like, I gotta be around for the boy, you know what I mean? I gotta make sure I'm his father, not just a man built, you know what I mean? And like, and then I had discussions with different influential men, like the GR out there, you know, Gordon and like all these guys. What's the point of you working and doing all this, and you're gonna a reality check? You want to talk about a reality check? Is like in your face and say, stop moping around and you're wallowing in your shit. You know what you gotta do. You know what you got to do. If you think you're going to be a chef, you're going to be dead in a year. What is the point? You bitch and moan saying you're alone, then God blesses you with a son, instant family, boom. And what are you going to do? Throw it away? So at that moment, I took my life back, man. Took my life back, and I said, I'm in a dramatic state. For all the haters that say I cheated my way to the way I look now, God bless you. You understand? I needed this tool. I don't squander the tool. I take it a step further. I'm probably a poster child for that shit.
Yeah.
Because I was 6'5", with diabetes, right? Heart disease, all that. Now I'm 155, abs, baby. What are you talking about? I go to the gym every day, swim every day, do things I've never thought. Went on a tour, rode roller coasters, and said I'm going on everything, and like just having fun. And now when I'm on the line, I'm like spread as stare, boy. I'm dancing all around the line, twisting and shouting and going crazy, and have so much energy. And like the life in my face is so much different than when if you looked at me on Hell's Kitchen. Like the life is there, the passion is more invigorating. You know what I mean? And like the fun me and my son have are like off the chain, man. Like we're playing, doing all these things, and like I just came to the point where it was like, man, life is great, man. Like things are really good. And then it comes back to like, what are you doing to make the world better? The world's been good to you, Robert. What are you doing to give back to it? And that's what the Urban Meld is my gift back to the world. And with your help, it can be bigger than what I can build it.
Yeah.
And one day, I'm telling you, this is a place for people. It ain't about stars, man. It ain't about the Michelin stars. It's about building it for the people. And if you can make a living at it, great. And know that I get paid for something I would do for free anyway. Imagine what it would be when it's mine, like I built it from the ground up, and the care and the love it's going to get from me. And knowing where all these dollars are going, you know what I'm saying? A percentage of those dollars are going. Knowing that I'm making a difference and then inspiring another business to step up his game. And it's great being successful, but you ain't got to be greedy, America. You know what I mean? So, you know, and that's why I need, you know, because I'm a street guy. I'm not smart, you know, like I'm not book smart like that. So I need to have people in place to go ahead and make sure that I'm not getting taken advantage of my good work, and put those programs in place so, you know, that they you know, they're not a wolf in sheep's clothing, you know, because I can sniff out a bullshit artist, you know what I mean, and tell it real quick. But I know what it is like, I need a representative and like me be the face of that and say, you know, like we need to go ahead and raise money to build housing, to get educational tools, to get a safe home built for like people that are, you know, kids that are in sexual abusive homes and like violent abusive homes. There are, you know, work release programs for young people, and like, you know, just little things we take for granted every day: toothpaste, hair gel, you know, female products, and anything that we can generate for these kids. And like, you know, also just giving them a work trade program, like earn money and be in this program. And, you know, my idea is one day to go ahead and, you know, start like a small underground like culinary school or something, you know, in the future, and say like we can get you to get, you know, where me and Michael talked about many times starting a chef consulting firm where we just hire and train inner city kids or troubled youth to learn this craft and say they can be the next artisanal guys, and like get them to go ahead and get the chops so they can go to culinary school. And so we're the first step during the high school and middle school phase. That's where we want to be with them. You know what I mean? So we inspire them to be like, you can go to college, bro. You can go ahead and do this. You know? You think you can't, but you can. And this is how you can do it. And give them the tools to get there. You know? So anyway, man, that's it, really. You know, I mean, the journey has brought me a lot of good things in my life.
That's awesome. I'm
really passionate about what I'm leaving. And it comes right back to what Miles. If anybody does any of this, you look at it like it's not what people give you. It's not what you get in life. It's what you leave behind that matters. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So even just remember that and just think on it. People out there that see this video, and just say, anything matters. Whether you're helping me or your fellow man that you know something is going on in your neighborhood, if you speak on it, this is how. And I'm not trying to be a martyr, and I'm just trying to throw a stone in the middle of a pond that's dormant and distilled right now, and make a ripple that just gets infectious, you know, and inspire other business owners that want to do this. And in anything, man, I want to also inspire, like, if you are a chef and you are a dude, or you have this great idea and you have money to go ahead and, or you can go to a bank loan and get a $50,000 truck loan or a car loan, but you won't have the balls to put a $50,000 personal loan to start your business. I'm telling you to go for it. You know what I mean? Because your life's going to change. The amount of pressure that comes off your shoulder, you get new pressure added on, trust me. But the amount of pressure that comes off of your shoulders, knowing that you are a good businessman contributing something that the world needs. You understand what I'm getting at? So I want to inspire future business or young people. Get out there, man. Make a difference. You know, so that's it, man. A lot of people always ask, what's big on the horizon as far as entertainment and stuff like this? Yeah, man, I got stuff in the works, but really, as far as in the works, like filming a show abroad, you know, like the reality things, like over and doing stuff in, abroad is like, you know, Canada. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going out of the country. Yeah, where are you going, Canada? It's like California. You know? You know, so I'm doing things like that, but it's really just to bring attention and say, why not, man? I'm going to use this soapbox for as long as I got to tell people to give money to kids and to come to the Urban Melt, and this is what I'm doing, right? I'm not using it to get advantage on other things. You understand? I want people to know what I'm doing, you know? But I'm really just more focused on opening on April 12th, National Grilled Cheese Day, 2019. The Urban Melt is going to pop off. We're having a grand opening, big event, and it's going to be an annual event. And on National Grilled Cheese Day, I'm going to give it away, free grilled cheese to the whole community, the whole day. And that's what I'm going to do every year. And I want to do it for the community and the kids. But I'm like, why not open tomorrow? Because I want to open on National Grilled Cheese Day, man, on April 12th. 2019, baby. That's when it's coming.
Well, that's awesome, Robert. Well, it was nice having you on today. It's always a pleasure just to hear you talk about your life and just the things that you've gone through. I think it's exciting to see that you've been able to connect with Michael over just me doing these videos, and just even bring attention to what you're doing with different opioid addictions, kids having a hard time in jail, and really just having a heart to reach out to those that they feel like they've been forgotten by society, which they really haven't, from guys like you. But as we know, guys like you and Mike are few and far between in this society today. So I think this will be a good movement just to get guys like yourself to just take a stand and be an impact.
Well, the thing is like, we lost a good man, you know, regardless if you like what he did for a living or not. Dennis Hoff was a big influential man in my life.
Yeah.
And people say, you go to the Bunny Ranch and I was doing, no. Dennis Hoff was a friend. And I never partaked in any of those activities that were there. I was there to do a job. And that's why he respected me. Because I'll tell you, America, you want to hear some scoop? One day I was in the parlor, and he was a huge Hell's Kitchen fan, right? Him and Ron Jeremy said, I want Robert from Hell's Kitchen to come cook for my birthday, right? And then I go there, and I'm like, oh, my God. You know, you're talking about a 655-pound fat guy that's in this realm of playground, and you're like, oh, my God, where have I put myself? right? And he brings me into his office. Now, this is exclusive stuff here. So he brings me in his office, and he's like, I'm going to ask you, you're a grown man, and you know where you are. So do you want to be paid in money, or do you want to be paid in blah, 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 blah? And I was like, red in the face, and I was like, Dennis, I'm a professional, and I swear to you, I said it just people were like, bullshit. Like, I'm a professional, and I'm here to do a job, and I'd like to be paid for what I do. And like, I want to have a relationship with you in the future and know that I'm not after for what you offer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then your friendship means it. And to be honest, I would love to cook for your birthday for free. You know what I mean? And he goes, well, I'm going to take care of you. And then at that moment, he gave me this special little bracelet, right? And as I wore that, that was like code word for over 400 and something ladies there. I can talk to, you can talk to them and whatever, and be gracious and hostful or whatever, but meaning like unapproachable.
Yeah.
That put the burden off me, and I really did my job. We cooked for Johnny Buss, 10,000 people, the owner of the Lakers, Yin Yang,
Wow.
all these cats, you know what I mean? And then I was the annual birthday chef for Dennis Hall. And he just had his birthday on Sunday, and God bless him, you know, the world took him, you know, God, it was his time, and, you know, and it's a very, but he is a very influential man in my life to be doing this project, because I'm a firm believer of being the driver of the bus, but putting people on my personal bus that know more in business, more in life experience than me, and put them in. Okay? To how to steer the bus, okay? And Dennis would always say, no matter what I do for a living, I'm a businessman, okay? So I want you to understand, Robert, that this is another guy in this like multi-million-dollar man just saying you have to believe in yourself because I believe in you. You have a true talent, and your talent is helping people. You belong helping. And he would, every time I show him a logo, show him my ideas, he would be like, beautiful, this is going to kill it. You're doing a good thing for people, right? So I just want to pay homage to that and say rest in peace, Dennis, I love you. And you know, you're a very influential man to the point where, you know, a lot of men to thank for your one, you know what I mean? And like, you know, so I just wanted to throw that out there. And my agent, people would say that's, you know, don't do that, you'll lose fans. And I'm just like, you know what? A spade is a spade, and a good man, no matter what he does. You know, Lucky Luciano used to go ahead, give to the homeless, and give most of his money to the orphanages he came from, but he was a murderous person. So it's just because I don't judge people. You judging me now? You know, like, imagine if you judge me on what I've done and not who I am now, right?
Yeah.
So I just want to throw that out there and say, you know, I'm doing this to go ahead and just give back to my community. I just don't want to open a restaurant, and I'm going to be very clear. I have the money and the funding to do this project, and this project is happening. The money that I'm asking to get the logistics part set up now to go ahead and make sure that this is really happening and going to the right place, because I will make sure that 1% of every sale will go, to matter if it's a t-shirt to a grilled cheese or a soda. At the end of the year, that money gets sent to this throughout different charities that deserve it, that belong to have it. And bring in that, instilling programs where they can come work, learn a trade, and get paid, and have a safer place to come, and also provide the needs and necessities that we're doing. Plus, I'm going to do hell of fundraisers, and I'm going to go as a businessman to the banks and to like the food company and to all the community and being like, look what I'm doing for our community, and I'm a transplant here. What are you doing for your community while you make millions of dollars off the people that are suffering? What are you doing? And I'm going to call them out. and make them pay.
That's right.
I'm telling you, because guilt is a motherfucker. Guilt is. You know what I mean? So if you put a little bit of that and show them what you're doing, and then you say, hey, what are you doing for it? You know what I mean? That'll get them. And that's all it needs, man. That one step, that one push. So America, thank you for listening. I'm glad. Thank you for all the love and the support. Thank you, Miles, for the interview. And make sure you check the link out. Go to my GoFundMe page where it's, you know, save an at-risk kid with a melt. Follow the link. You know, whatever you can do is awesome. I answer everything. And please follow the progress on the Urban 2019, April 12th. We're going to make it popping and banging, baby.
Well, that's awesome, Robert. It was nice having you on today yet again for our second interview. I think this was a great pleasure, and I think your story just will have a great impact on your fans and the people that are watching. People are constantly watching Hell's Kitchen. People are always looking for you guys. And this medium of just YouTube videos and your own social media personally is just such a great platform to really reach people for your vision, which is that's the whole point of what we're doing right now. So it was nice having you on. Have a great time. All righty.
Thanks, Miles, man. Now I'm glad you got the money to fix your audio, because the last video, all the
Yep. I had to invest in all this stuff and wear a headset.
All right, brother. Well, all right. Good night. God bless.
Good night.